Who's standard
So you're all asking questions. I just want to make sure I can get you all in shot. Do you want to go actually a little bit that way? Back, and maybe swap places with whoever's behind.
CJ.
Okay.
To Brazil, the proposer of the resolution. The resolution sets out a global goal of 85% reductions by 2050. How do you intend to reach an 85% goal for the entire world when the binding levels only apply to developed countries who only emit 44% carbon now already?
The 85% global goal is just that. It's just a goal. It's not a binding reduction commitment.
How much consideration did you give to the emissions targets in this resolution before you seconded it?
Well, actually quite a lot, and I think maybe the press does not appreciate how progressive the new administration is on climate change.
My question was actually how much consideration gave to it not...
Yes, quite a lot. And at Copenhagen, we went to Copenhagen with targets that were roughly in line with European Union countries. And the targets that we adopted yesterday were the targets of the European Union.
Delegate of India. I am representing the Hindustan Times, an Indian newspaper. Obviously, India has a lot to get out of this resolution because as a developing countries, India does not have to commit to any carbon emission reduction. But as you sponsoring this resolution will damage the image of our country.
If just looking in isolation at yesterday, it may appear that way, but using the amendments of yesterday, we are now able to move forward with a strong support of the developed nations.
Japan, why is it that you've agreed to give 8% or 8.7% of your income to this when your country is having such issues with debt at the moment?
Japan's always been a world leader in climate change and is confident that its economy will recover.
To the United States in a follow-up. The United States GDP is 14.4 trillion, so 1% of that is about 150 billion. Do you think it's fair on the US public that you're spending more on climate change adaptation and more on climate change adaptation than the US government spends on the Department of Energy, Department of Education, Department of Agriculture, Department of Justice, Commerce, Labour, Treasury, Interior, all put together?
This is a massive amount of money.
So will you be cutting all those departments or will you be increasing taxes by 150 billion?
I'm not sure that those numbers add up, so I'll have to get back to you on that.
Just for Canada, you did mention before, or at least you gave the impression that the Canadian oil economy would be okay. Does that mean to say that the US will be supporting the Canadian oil economy?
In the sense that Canada and the US will be working together, as they have always in terms of trade.
So the US would be throwing you a life jacket essentially to help your oil economy while you overcommit yourself to climate change targets?
I wouldn't say that a life jacket is the correct term, rather that we will be interlinked as we have always been. Last question.
You guys passed this resolution with extreme haste last night. It took you the process of about half an hour. I don't even think there was an official debate of any amendments. There was?
Yes, there was. We've been debating it all day. This was just a slight variation on the original agreement, which was more. It was of a different. It was constructed in a different format and had slightly different goals to be achieved, but fundamentally it was very similar to the one that we've been discussing the entire day.
So you don't think that the fact that Iran has been quoted as strongly against, Russia voted for the other one but against this one, Germany, the EU countries voted against it, and Indonesia, who proposed the last one, abstained from it, gives any indication that they're any different?
Well, there's a couple of different things. Iran was in favour of the other one because it looked at nuclear technology as opposed to this one, which did not deal with the issue because we did not think it was an issue of yesterday's amendment. This one was slightly more in favour of developing nations as opposed to the other one, which was slightly more in favour of developed nations.
This was rushed in 30 minutes. This was an agreement that tried to consider all of the amendments that were on the floor and tried to speed things up a little bit. Now, I don't feel that this was, too rushed. It did consider the amendments that had previously been considered for the